I need to stir up the particles to a greater extent, so I'm going to apply some fields to them. First, I'm going to add two different turbulence fields. I like to overlap turbulence fields with large and small frequencies so as to further randomize the smoke movement. I select the particles and create a turbulence field. I'm going to name this field main turb. Because I don't need to localize the turbulence effect and want to see the turbulence over the entire scene, I turn off the field's attenuation. Seeing as how this is going to be a fairly large effect, I set the frequency to 0.5. I also turn the magnitude up to 60, as I need a pretty strong field to move these fast-moving particles effectively. To give the turbulence more realistic-looking movement, I want to shift its phase values in all three axes. This emulates moving air densities that occur naturally in any atmosphere. I'm going to add a simple expression to do this. I multiply the values by the current frame to keep the phase shift moving. I'm also going to add a second turbulence field, this time one with a smaller frequency. Because this is a smaller effect, I don't need to shift its phase. I find that my particles are looking a bit loose, so I'm going to add a drag field to them, which will slow them down a bit. Drag fields are excellent for emulating air resistance on moving particles. Again, I want a global effect, so I don't set any attenuation, but I need to be careful about how high I set the magnitude, as drag fields are quite sensitive. The last field I want to add to my smoke is an air field. For this effect, the shot called for the smoke to blow to frame right, but I don't want to add an overall wind effect. I want the particles to shoot away from the car quickly early on, then lose velocity and drift slowly until the fade out. To accomplish this, I'm going to create an air field, but use the volume shape feature to limit how far the field affects the smoke. First, I create an air field, then point constrain it to the top level of the car so it follows along. I change its volume type to sphere, then scale it up to 35 units. Like the main turbulence, I need to set the air field's magnitude pretty high, as the smoke is moving quite fast. I'll set that to 100, its attenuation to 1, so the effect falls off linearly towards the edge of the sphere. And I'll set its speed to 10. I also want to set the direction of the air towards screen right and up in Y a bit.